Hello, and welcome to another riveting episode. If it starts. Hello, and welcome to another episode of reading my poetry books with your host, the Shoebox Poet, Clarence Plank, and I'll be reading from my book, The Universe Said Hold My Beer. So, when we last left off, and I apologize for taking so long, just a lot of things have been going on. It's been really busy, and had a couple of disruptions and things. But we are going to read this new one called Blindfolded Mystery. She hides her eyes behind a blindfolded mystery of how she wishes her life would be, wishing upon strangers and stars and finding some peace of love. She's too blind to see, her wounds run deep, and everyone she meets is covered in her blood. From the pain no one can heal, people tell her to love herself, to help her heal. But she doesn't hear their pleas of giving herself mercy from a broken heart and love herself from within. And this is basically looking at a friend and how she, from the past I knew, who would jump from relationship to relationship to relationship constantly. It's just like a constant thing where she would do that instead of working on healing herself or taking care of herself in the process. And in those things, she ended up making a lot of mistakes in the people she dated. And it ended up hurting her in a lot of different things. I said, I don't know where she is now, but I do hope she's doing better and hope things worked out for her. This one's called Nothing More. Fine lines and curves of beauty, I want to press my lips upon her soft skin. I want to feel the rhythm of seduction between every heartbeat beneath my fingers as her body burns from my touch. I desire nothing more than to taste your lips and let your imagination guess of which I yearn to quench my thirst with. As I make you gasp from words that secretly leave your lips, and we embrace between strokes of beating bliss, with our bodies give in to the passion and lust of lovers. Taking your curves in hand, I trace every inch of you like a pen moving slowly across a page. My ink doesn't run, only ignite a fire within you that I can't help to build higher with every thrust of being. So can you come closer to God in moaning chorus of an angel? And this is basically an erotic poem that I did for it was like Erotic Saturday on Instagram. This is you have to go in there and look, but there's several in there of that they do like once a week. So I wanted to do something with those prompts that were there in doing this poem here. So for me, as like I always look at making love to a woman like um, writing a poem on a piece of a page because or basically on a page, and how the you or how I like to compare the the, the movement of the pen to that. This next one's called Typeset. Faded cracks and shards, broken pieces faceless from its place, typeset and flawed as silver shatters and a reflection dies to collect in the sink. Its grief wore a face. It would show what we wished world to see. A mask full of glass, twisting the light, hiding the image of regret between the cracks. Gold, silver, or tin can't fill the spaces left from grief. That hole is too deep where a person once spit in my heart space. So the mirror is broken like a man who casts no reflection in the silver stained pane. And this basically was for a word prompt, and it talks about, you know, grief and loving someone so much that, you miss them being here in this world and them being gone. So you see those reflections of yourself, because it says if you're dealing with loss of a family member, those pieces of them, the things that they instilled you in your life, are those fragments of them, those parts of them that are in you, whether it's was good or a good situation or bad. The next one's called "Flew to Embrace," and it's a short poem. On the wings of a raven, she flew to embrace her destiny with open arms. And this is basically talking about embracing the destiny of who you're supposed to be, or the things that, no matter how bad it is, knowing that you can embrace this in the moment and move past the situation, good or bad. And it was for a word prompt, and I believe it was for embrace or destiny, one or two. But it's like a 15-word poem, and so I was just trying to do something different with that. This next one's called "Blood Shed and Scars." They say playing with fire will get you burned, and there would be nothing left, only embers. But she is worth bloodshed and scars to hold her flame and the pain in the palm of my hands, just for a moment. And it's basically, this poem is talking about what you wouldn't give to hold somebody. I mean, whether it be a man or a woman, you know, you just want to have that moment of intimacy with them, regardless of whether you do have it goes any further than that. But you want to grasp on to who they are as in the light in the life. His next one's called "Something Beautiful." Something beautiful playing with fire, and passion is like dancing with an open flame. You fan the embers every time you move, or taste her smoldering lips. Her curves burn away the edges of you as you shape fire into something beautiful. And I was looking at we're going with this word prompt here. We're basically, fire and embers and flame, and looking at that and how a blacksmith would form or forge something into nothing out of metal, and basically looking at a woman who is fire, and taking those embers and just of her and making something more of her, and you burn yourself on the fire of who she is. So we're gonna go with two more poems. I'm sorry about being short. I mean, this is 7 minutes anyway at this point. But two more poems, and then, because we don't have much left of this book. So, Your Chosen Path. Did you know our light was born in the heavens, because I signed my name upon with stardust upon the moon, so you would know where to find me. I had to say, be mindful of cosmic imposters on ebony horizons, who would try to draw you off your chosen path. I beg you to listen to my silent sighs, hidden behind poetic verses and rhythm in quest of grief-stricken heart. People will tell you twilight stories after sunlight about the veiled stars that never forgave me for my misdeeds. I know I am at fault for things that forgiveness nor grace will wash away my sins. I poured bleeding thistles of a rose garden of thorns in search of a mercy, and begged for falling stars in the universe, with some sort of penance, but to no avail to my own madness. When petals become a burden upon a sepal, you will have to learn to love me for who I am, a broken man. And this is basically a multitude of different, I think it was for pictures or for word prompts. And I just basically painted a picture of looking at myself as a broken person and trying to love someone. So I know what, instead of doing the last one, we're just going to call it here, because I need some things I got to really do. And I want to try to keep this under 10 minutes so I can post it on TikTok. But definitely check out my friends, Sarah Aikenhead, Bill and Ron Miller. They are doing, with their Casting the Fire podcast, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the cartoon that came out back in the early 80s. Definitely check that out, because there's a lot of information in there. Check out my friends, Aria Simmons, and my Alberta, and their Reiki sessions. My friend Jenna Jinks portraits and her drawings and stuff. Definitely check her out over on Instagram. Y'all have a good night. Take it easy, and I hope to see you very, very soon.